there are some hot companies that report in December every year, and they usually get the shaft for my Earnings All Stars videos, but I decided to do one covering the 5 hottest stocks that report in December that you should be watching. So what are these mysterious companies that are reporting late in the season or a little bit off on the fiscal year? These are some doozies, so let's dive right in and see what they are. The first company is Chewy, ticker CHWY. This has been one of the big pandemic winners as we've all been ordering pet supplies online now, as we all have dogs, right? We all ran out and bought a dog. So Chewy is, killing it. It's coming off that big beat last quarter. Shares are soaring. They're up 160% year to date. They don't even have a PE, but nobody cares. Will a lot of pet supply buying just switch to online, and will you stay loyal to Chewy even after the pandemic is over? These are all questions that are out there, but in the meantime, this remains one of the hottest stocks on the street. Then we're going to switch over to furniture, which has also been really hot this year, and RH, ticker RH. Now, I own this one in my own personal portfolio, and many of you that follow me on Twitter know that I've owned it for several years now, and I follow it on its earnings reports because you never know what's going to happen with Gary Friedman and his gang over there. But they too are coming off of 2 big beats the last 2 quarters, as demand has soared for furniture during the pandemic. And one of the questions is, can they actually execute? Get the furniture in from overseas where they mostly manufacture in China? Can they get it in? How bad is the backlog? All of these factors are coming into play now, but the shares continue to break out. They do have a big short position, so that's some of it and some of what's happening here, but they're not altogether expensive for this kind of growth type of company, as they have a forward PE of 26 right here. So we will see what this last quarter, brings in terms of the sales and the execution side. But the shares are priced for perfection, so this should be one of the wild ones when they report here in December. Another big retailer that everybody's waiting to hear from is Lululemon, ticker LULU. I also own this one, but not as long as the RH one. But they've just been killing it on all metrics, both men's and women's. Yes, they have a big men's department, and they're still growing that, expecting it to be 20 or even 30% of sales ultimately. So both sides of the metric are killing it for them. And I know, having bought some gifts already from Lulu for this holiday season, a lot of things are out of stock. So that's going to be a question for them. Do they have enough inventory to meet demand this holiday season? And what's going on in China, that was a big driver of them last quarter. You can see that big beat, as the Chinese consumer is basically back to their normal behavior. And that's good news for Lulu, because they're popular in China just as well as they are in other parts of the world. So these shares are now up 58% year to date. Pretty pricey at 87 times. I'm not, doubting that. But if they can execute like their competitor Athleta did, who saw 37% same-store sales growth in this last quarter, which is incredible, then they might be worth the price. But we will see. But this is a big one to watch in December. And then switching over to the semiconductors, a couple big names going this month. Broadcom, AVGO is the ticker there. They've got this great track record of meeting or beating every quarter since our data began there in 2017. They're pretty cheap for this category. They're trading at 15 times, and the shares still got momentum here, and nothing seems to stop the semis. The entire industry is now at 5-year highs right now. So Broadcom is one of the drivers of that, and this is going to be one that everybody's going to be watching. And then we're going to wrap it up with one of my favorite December reporters, Micron. I give their investors a lot of grief a lot of times on stock twits, but as you can see, the shares are busting out once again. And they've got a great track record, just that one miss in early 2019 as the memory area was having some fluctuations and demand and pricing had fallen. That's why you had that fall in the shares there. But things are turning around here, and this looks like it could be one to watch. Now, the earnings will trail what's happening with the stock. So it does have a PE of 23 right now, which is nowhere near what it used to trade for in 2017 and even 2018 when it was at 4 to 5 times earnings. But when it goes into these cycles, these up cycles, that's when the earnings start to rise pretty dramatically and the shares get cheap. So they're not altogether expensive here at 23 times, as we are just in the beginning stages of another up cycle here. But this is one that everyone in the group likes to watch and tune in on those conference calls, and I will be doing the same here in December. So these are just a few of the hot names that are still going to report here in December. There's a few others. So you want to follow my Twitter feed because I'll be tweeting out all the charts of all the hot stocks here in the so-called off season. But we'll be heading into the next earnings season just as the calendar changes there, right at almost the beginning of January. So all the Earnings All-Stars videos will be back in just a few weeks. And that's when, we'll get all the big names once again. And so you want to subscribe, go to zacks.com/YouTube to get all of our content, including the Earnings All-Stars videos every quarter. You won't miss a single one if you're a subscriber, but go to zacks.com/YouTube to get everything. And I'll see you again in 2021 with all the hot earnings charts.